Hey guys! So the first thing you'll probably notice about today's video is that the actual footage that I have time-lapsed is quite a bit different from things I've done on this channel in the past. This will actually come into play a little bit later as far as the discussion is concerned. I just wanted to mention it now just to kind of give a overview of what's happening. Today's topic of discussion is something I was really heavily debating whether or not to talk about because it's bound to get very personal. However, it is something that a lot of artists struggle with, and if there's a chance that I can help someone with this video, I want to take the chance and make myself vulnerable for a moment. And the thing we're going to be discussing is actually burnout. Now, if there's one thing that I'm absolutely notorious for, it's overworking myself, and overworking myself to the point that I literally break. It doesn't matter if it's school or work or even my hobbies. I tend to drill myself into the ground, and I typically push myself to the point where I end up dreading even the things that I once loved. And unfortunately, I do this with my artwork as well. Recently, over the past few months, I've been very creatively burnt out. I was sort of trying to think about what had happened to lead up to this, and I think it did happen as a result of Inktober and making a full illustration and video every day for October, and I don't think I ever fully recovered from that. This is a very good example of me pushing myself so far and so hard that I just lose it. After that happened, I ended up in a slump, and it was a very rough time for me. I'm not going to get into all the details because this video is not really about me, it's about helping other people with their own creative burnout. However, about a month or so ago, I really decided to try to refresh my creative juices again. There are several different ways that I've attempted to go about this, and I will be discussing quite a few of them in this video. But the first thing I tried, which was working in my sketchbooks without any intentions behind it, didn't work the way that I wanted it to. I had started to become very perfectionistic about my sketchbooks, and I was coming down really hard on myself if I ever created anything that I didn't like. Even when I was trying to tell myself that the whole reason I was working in sketchbooks was to help myself get back into the joy of creating again. Unfortunately, I had just started to introduce things like stickers and buttons into my Etsy shop, and as a result, I found myself using my sketchbooks as a place to work on designs, since that's what I've always used my sketchbooks for. Though there's definitely nothing wrong with using sketchbooks for creative idea development, that wasn't what I needed to help me get out of my slump. I don't think I personally have gotten over my burnout completely, but I am feeling substantially better than I was, and so I thought I could share a couple of main ways I think I made progress towards getting better. Now, the first tip is going to be more physical, and the second tip is going to be more artistic. Both are very important, but if you are not really into the whole first part of the video, understand that there is another half coming. So getting into those ideas, those concepts of what I think helped me get better, the first was focusing on my health. I am very good at getting caught up in the moment and forgetting to do even basic things like brush my teeth or eat breakfast. But I'm even worse about things like drinking enough water or exercising as frequently as I wanted to be. The main thing that I've realized is that when you're focusing on your health, it's easier to look at it in smaller chunks and to take one small little baby step at a time. The first thing I did was I quit drinking as much coffee as I had been and started replacing it with tea and water. I love coffee. If anybody knows me in real life, you know that I adore coffee. I drink black coffee every day. And I was at the point where I would make a pot in the morning, and I wasn't the only person drinking it. There's 4 people in this house that drink coffee, but they typically don't drink as much as me. So I would make the first pot, and then in the afternoon I would make another pot. And I decided that I needed to think about what was best for me, and I needed to stop making that second pot, and I needed to focus more on getting enough water in my system. The next thing I did was actually started meditating. I've actually been doing this for about 3 months now, and the progress that I have made emotionally has been staggering. I don't think we realize how infrequently we let ourselves be still, and focusing on your breathing is really hard to do. It has really helped me with my focus and being present, but it's also helped me with things like patience or how to manage my time more efficiently. Really, it's just slowing your body down and putting away your screens for a bit and just sitting and breathing. And you can do it in as little as 10 minutes a day. That's what I started with. I've recently upped it to 15 minutes, and it got hard all over again. But I really do think the benefits are worth it. And the third thing I'm going to talk about as far as the health portion of this video is concerned is exercise. I was actually already working out consistently 2 times a week in the evenings, and I do martial arts, so a lot of times it's very intensive cardio work. But I wasn't doing any kind of strength training or any kind of extended training. And in order to help with that, what I ended up adding to my morning schedule was yoga. I did it every day for a little over a month, and I've actually cut back on it a little bit, but not too much. I still want to make sure I'm doing it several times a week, but I don't know that daily is necessarily as important, as long as you're being more active than you were before. I think artists especially fall victim to this sitting still concept where we don't really move and we don't really do anything except our artwork because it's not really in the forefront of our minds. But it is very important to move your body and stay healthy. It can help you have a clearer mind, which in turn helps with things like burnout. And now we move on to the final part of this video, and that is the creative part. The main thing that I have found helps with creative burnout in particular is having artwork that is just for you. And it doesn't matter how you have to do that. This is not artwork that you're making to post on social media. If you post it on social media when you're done, fine, but you go into it with the mindset of no one else is going to see this except for you. As I mentioned in the first part of this video, I had tried using my sketchbooks as a place to escape and to enjoy creativity, but it wasn't working. And so for me, I realized that what I needed to do was a hard reset. The personal art that I was going to be doing needed to be as different as possible from my illustration work. It could hardly be related at all, because if it was too closely related, I knew that my brain would start going back into work mode instead of create mode. Now, I found this difference in 2 main places, but for you, these may be completely different. However, for me, my 2 main arts that I decided to focus on were bookbinding and art journaling / mixed media sketchbooks. Now, both of these things are actually something that I used to do when I was much younger, probably around 13 to 15 years old. Somewhere along the way, I got a little bit lost and I completely forgot about them and I kind of pushed them aside. When I was looking at my creative burnout, however, I knew that when I was younger, taking some time to do abstract painting without any real idea of what the outcome would be always made me feel good. If I went too long without doing something creative, even at 11, 12 years old, I would start to go through emotional struggles, more so than I did typically. So basically, I decided to give it a shot, and I absolutely loved it. I have found myself painting for 4 or 5 hours a day, and I always want to do more. I always feel like there's something else to do, and it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels so energizing, and it makes me feel so creative. And I can't remember the last time I genuinely felt that. Now, recently, in the past week or so, I've started incorporating my illustrations into those mixed media sketchbooks. It's very loose, it's very expressive, it's not as perfectionistic as I used to be, but I have finally managed to get back into my sketchbooks. I've managed to do illustrations for projects that I've been procrastinating on for weeks, and it didn't feel like a struggle. It felt fantastic. It felt like I was having fun, and it reminded me of why I do this in the first place. So I hope this video has helped you to understand some of the ways that you can approach creative burnout and kind of work on refreshing yourself. And I hope that it has also shown you that there is importance in having artwork that is exclusively yours. It's no one else's. It's only for you to have fun creating. If you have any ideas of things I could discuss in a future video, I would love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.